Salutations, Ginger League, and welcome to Super Geeked, where we discuss the latest news and all things super. I'm your host tonight, Andrew Durnan. Sadly, Rosie first was mentioned she was on holiday. Oh, sorry, it was Susan that was mentioned she was on holiday, wasn't it, Kev? I fucked up
Yeah.
already, but fuck it, I keep it in. Why not? Well,
Did-
Susan kept
did-
mentioning that she'd been on holiday in the last episode, and now she's got the cheek of actually having a birthday. I mean, why is it with these people just been like, nah, I've got birthdays.
Done.
Rosie unfortunately still can't make it. Hoping that she's all right. Aside from that, you've still got the gruesome twosome. You've got us unhinged,
Yeah.
unfiltered, to myself and Kev. How you getting on, buddy?
Not bad, not bad. I'm excited about some of the stuff that's came out recently.
Yep. Well, normally we'd be like, all right, yeah, okay. But the stuff that's came out, we're just going to jump right in because the most recent announcement is regarding Deadpool and Wolverine. There's been recent reveal from a couple of videos on Ryan Reynolds' YouTube channels and his socials that not only is Deadpool 3 coming, but Hugh Jackman is going to return as Wolverine. Kev, what are your thoughts on it? Because I'm pretty sure you know what my thoughts are.
Probably about the same as yours, but I know that there's all this hype. There's going to be millions and millions of build up, and it'll be like a 5 second to 10 second scene,
Mm.
and then that'll be it. And it's like, why build this up?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the build up is going to be the best part of it, and then the actual bit of the film will be like, it's like Deadpool will be running past, see him, and go, "Fuck you," and then just keep going. That's what it's going to be.
Or it's going to be like he'll just run past, but like Logan, and he'll just go fuck yourself. It'll be something like that. Well, we know it won't be much, but with Deadpool, you know what you're getting. And the thing that everybody looks forward to more than the Deadpool movies is the marketing that comes before it. I mean, the first Deadpool movie was amazing, but the marketing beforehand was just sublime. It was just beautiful Deadpool style. And then when Deadpool 2 came out, we thought, how's he going to top this? You got fucking Celine Dion. It's doing a song like pure like dramatic Titanic style, and then he's there going, yeah, tone it down. This is Deadpool, not Titanic. It's like, you're doing an 11, we need you at a 5. And she gives it all the diva saying like zip it Spider-Man, and he's like, I should have asked NSYNC. So just so many things that I was just like, this is just brilliant. I'd never played the Celine Dion song so much in my puff. So I think Alison was starting to worry I was going to do a Schofield. And then she realized who was in it, and she's like, okay, I get it.
Right, I get it.
Yeah, because she just heard the song. She was like, Celine Dion's my singer. No, yours. What the hell is going on? Well, it came down, and I was like, look who's at it. She's like, oh, I got you. Yeah, but even just the two videos that they dropped. The first one that got dropped, at the time of this recording, it was the last night, so it was the Tuesday night, and it was the whole kind of, there's been so many iterations of Deadpool. We need to like respect the character and give freshness, blah, blah, blah. And it's just Hugh Jackman walking in the background. Hey, you want to come back as Wolverine? Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just like, what?
I
What did
know.
that actually? So that blew up the internet. And then today, they've released another little bit around it, just saying, yes, it's not going to tie into Logan. Because Logan's set in like 2029, so you don't need to worry about it. And we were like, so first of all, thank Christ for that. And then they're like, okay, and we're so excited to give you basic plot points. And then Jitterbug starts playing as they're miming it out and acting it out, and it ends with thank you, Kevin Feige. I was like, oh man, this is the type of insanity I am looking forward to most. Just the marketing of Deadpool 3. The film could suck ass. I don't think it will. But it could suck ass and we wouldn't care because the promos would just be so good leading up to
it. The thing is, though, how are they going to do marketing the way they did with Fox? Because Fox just don't give a shit. They're like, just go, do it. Whereas Marvel and Disney, they'll be like, it needs to be like this, it needs to be like this. But Kevin Feige has said to Ryan Reynolds, look, we know that you are Deadpool. Anything that you want to do, we can work around it and get it in, as long as it fits with this, and this.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the one thing that I am really worried about is the fitting with this, and this.
Yeah.
Like I was watching like a couple of like the other kind of main superhero critics like that I've followed for a while, and Dan Murrell, who's actually had Ryan Reynolds. They've done the honest trailers with Ryan Reynolds in it for Deadpool 1 and 2. He gave him a case of aviation gin, and during one of the Screen Junkies episodes I watched, they got smashed on his aviation gin, which was brilliant. So he's up front saying, you know, I'm not just fanboying out because Ryan Reynolds has been on it, and I've worked and I've had the pleasure of like working with him before. He's like, but I love the fact that Deadpool can play in his own little sandbox, and it doesn't affect anything. It doesn't. He's like, I don't want to see like him shrinking down to the size of Ant-Man and joining in Quantumania or whatever. He's like, I just want to see like Deadpool, his own little bit. Nothing matters. No one really gives a shit. He can just hop about it's just a wee standalone entity. And I am so worried that Marvel are going to try and tie him in when they really shouldn't. I mean, that's my own opinion. But
the thing is, they could tie him in through companies and entities that are already in the universe. Like they could have him try to take down Roxxon or AIM because we've heard of them, and he has went after them. So it could easily do that in the background. It's not a major scale thing. It's happening in the background. Lots of all the other superheroes in their single movies. It's just things that happen in the background. Nobody else really gets involved. So they could easily put that in there. In the shared universe, he's there, but he's not taking anything to do with them because he knows it's all just bullshit.
I think what they need to look at some of the kind of media, the suggestions and memes that have been around by fans leading up to this.
Yeah.
The particular one that I loved was Deadpool just doing a drag and drop of all the folders of the X-Men from Fox, just dragging it into an MCU folder and going, okay, that's us. Just something like that, like him essentially becoming like the Stan Lee Watcher, like we saw in like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and it would be just like, okay, this is my job now. Off he goes. He could live off cameos.
What they could have him doing is like breaking into like an old Fox studio when the server's still up.
Yeah.
And hacking in and then putting it onto Disney. And then just him looking at the camera going, there you go, Kevin. I've done it.
Yeah, just something like that.
Something stupid like that.
Yeah, but like vault is like an Indiana Jones style vault. Just having something like that. I mean, imagine if, like, you know the scene in Multiverse of Madness where the Strange and America Chavez were going through all these wee bits. So like, there was some points there were water, some points there were like watercolor images and stuff. Imagine that, but in Deadpool 3 and him jumping into, like, for example, Family Guy. And then like jumping into Legion. Like jumping into like the old X-Men cast, and then the new X-Men cast, and then the potential new X-Men cast, and that introduces them. It's like, and he sees all these different Wolverines, and that could be a cheeky way of getting Wolverine in two of those cameos, because he could have the past and the most recent ones because he's been in both.
Yep.
And then it goes into a different reality, and that introduces the new Wolverine, and it's like, I don't recognize you. Where's Hugh Jackman? What are you talking about? Just something so daft like that. They've got to let. I know that they have to keep play ball with certain things. It's Marvel. We're on that train now, sadly. But I think with Ryan Reynolds being at the helm and the guys who they've got behind it, they've got to give them the freedom to do it, because if not, we are going to be in. I'm going to have the same Netflix series worries like I've had with Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's kind of our takes on it. And because we are flying solo, I want to prove to Susan and Rosie that we can do this and keep that time limit. So we're going to move swiftly on. Kev, you have looked up some of the other topics before the breaking news came out. Once again, thank you for doing that. So let's dive right in. What's your first one?
Well, Keanu Reeves is supposed to be returning as John Constantine for a second film. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, this is where I'm missing Rosie because I know that she had a lot of opinions about this, and it could have really stirred the pot.
It could have.
So I might have to slightly stir the pot. I got nothing against Kung Fu Jesus. Keanu Reeves is amazing. Wow, we love Keanu Reeves. We are Keanu Reeves fans in this house. But I remember watching Constantine. Didn't know the backstory of it. Like how essentially he didn't look like Constantine. There was other bits that were kind of issues with it. But from someone that didn't really know it, I thought he did a good job. I thought he still had that kind of the kind of wooden acting at that point. You know, because it was just about, I think it was around the time he filmed The Day the Earth Stood Still. And that was
a few years.
yeah.
It was a few years later or something. He done that. Aye,
it was around about that time. That was a god awful film. Like, poor Keanu Reeves. I felt so bad for him. But it was one of those ones that I once actually held up my popcorn next to him acting, and I was more drawn by the popcorn. And again, nothing against Keanu Reeves. That was probably how he was told to do it. But the Constantine film, I didn't mind. I didn't think it would get a sequel because it just screams, the 2000s like comic book movie that was going around at that time. It was a slight cut above, but it was still in those same kind of lines. But they did have some great premises. But at the end of it, as you remember, and spoiler alert for anybody who's not seen Constantine, he was cured of all the things that had, that was like killing him and stuff, and then he's like, he was kind of like redeemed. So I'm intrigued to see how they play it. I think I'm just selfish because I've been so used to Matt Ryan doing it now, and
yeah,
he's been doing it consistently like for a decade now. What in TV series and what comic movies, like animated movies. What it's like he's become one with that character. So I'm a bit gutted that he's not getting the movie that he deserves.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's Keanu Reeves. We're in a Keanu-sance. He's got the power to basically like, we want to do a sequel, why not? And people will come and see it. It's an easy win for DC at a time when they really need them.
That was going to be my point. It's like the Warner Brothers Discovery have needed something to come out that stops people saying, "What the fuck are you doing? Pull your finger out and actually do something." And then this comes out and it's like, oh, and it's like you said, it's not a sequel that really is needed, but it could easily fit in as a standalone DC film. None of this universe building that DC are so trying to copy.
Yeah.
Because
do you think that this Constantine could be the Deadpool of DCEU? Like
possibly.
they could just let him play in his little sandbox because he was there before this attempt, and now he's coming in essentially when this attempt is starting to die.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Could be something like that.
It could easily link as well into Sandman.
That's true.
Which is comics as well, and the way Neil Gaiman wrote them is so that all these mystical characters from other different comics could easily come in. He said that it's not just one universe. Sandman, it is all universes. And therefore Marvel can come in, DC can come in. He spoke to both of them about doing crossover comics in the past. And I was like, you know what I'd like to see? Dr. Fate, Doctor Strange, and Sandman.
Oh,
that
could be interesting.
And going down a darker route as well. And it's like, there's so many opportunities for these things to happen. If like companies just said, look, this will make us all money. And that's what we want. And it'll give the fans something a lot better to watch.
Yeah, than the recent kind of dross that has been
out.
And it does, the fact that I've seen so many like top 10 lists about like, DC screw ups just for this year.
Yeah.
Well, that shows you that a lot of the fans were disgruntled. All the ones that are DC fans, they thought they were finally starting to kind of break away and get their own kind of identity found. And then it's just from on high, it's just been totally killed. What they basically took like a weed killer and just went, that's you, you're done.
Yeah.
And it was a shame because they were starting to build a bit of momentum. And Marvel's just sitting on the sidelines going, what we can do? Let's get Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman out. And just really just like remember you seen the meme of like the Barry Allen, Oliver Queen from the Arrowverse at the grave, and he's like, that was basically what it felt like when that came out. I was like, kick them when they're down. But it was also felt like anything you can do, we can do better. We're going to get Keanu Reeves back for Constantine. Oh, here we go. And they've just went.
We've got Deadpool and we've got Wolverine.
Mm-hmm. And it was just like shots fired by DC, and there was like the Buffy scene where she gets the big bazooka and just fires it. That was essentially what they'd done to the Constantine reveal, and we're like, holy fuck, man!
I know
it's something quite funny to watch from the sidelines, but I do think DC needs some sort of win. They need to let them have something, otherwise it is just going to go to pot.
Yeah, they're not going to be in a good position for a long time unless they get a good few hits.
Yeah. Yep. And so a lot of it will be riding on Black Adam, I think.
A lot of it will be.
Which is unfair on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Don't get me wrong, he can practically do no wrong. He's like a super jacked Keanu Reeves at the minute. But it is one of those ones you're still like, he's got to hit this right, or they are done.
No. But I mean, Black Adam was supposed to be out 2019 or something.
It was meant to be out before COVID hit.
Aye.
And then it was meant to be out before that, and I think it was like 2018 at first, and then it just was pushed back.
Yeah.
But we'll wait and see what happens with that. Because we've got some. So what's the next topic of discussion, Kev? Susie, we are going to get through this.
With Sony going ahead with their plans to strengthen their Spider-Verse, what are your thoughts on Kraven the Hunter being an animal lover and a conservationist instead of a hunter, as his name states?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's something that I did have to read that a couple of times. I was like, what now? It's what? I think depending on how they do it, like, and if he starts off as like the conservationist kind of type, and then through whatever MacGuffins that they come up with and evolve it into, like him being, the hunter.
Yeah.
There's a way it can be done, but I cannot think of how.
No.
To me, the announcement screamed Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. I was like, please do not Jamie Foxx this bugger. Do not don't Electro him. Because they're not going to get these crossover Spider-Man movies to save your asses again.
Yeah.
That was a lightning in a bottle. And they're like, it revived the chances of Andrew Garfield getting a Spider-Man movie. It revived Jamie Foxx's character. It revived the issues they had with Sandman and all that kind of stuff. So what's the name of Reese Evans' character again? The lizard guy.
Aye.
Yeah, who Kurt Connors. I can't remember his bad guy name, but I remember Kurt Connors.
Oh, he's just the lizard. I was trying to remember. Right. I was trying to remember Kurt Connors. I was like, oh god, what's his name?
So that's not bad. Fair dues. Yeah, so there was all those ones, and they kept swinging a miss. The MCU collaboration revived the faith in humanity, and then Jared Leto hit and reminded us that they should not be trusted on their own.
No,
it's kind of like I look at Sony the way I look at my kids. Like I'm like the MCU and they're Sony. They can be a little bit wild, but as long as they've got a nice guiding hand to keep them going along, they're brilliant.
But then you go to the toilet.
Yeah,
You go to the toilet, and then there's a fire in the kitchen.
Yep, and they just turn into complete morons. So yeah, that's probably the best analogy I can come up with this idea for the Kraven Hunter. That was the thing that I thought of. I'm like, okay, which kid is going to draw over the wall? Which one is going to not flush the toilet?
Aye.
Well, it was that kind of deal. And right now, from that announcement, Sony are taking the dump. I just hope they flush the toilet. Worst analogy I could have ever used, but it makes my point.
I hope they have. I mean, they've got a Aaron Taylor Johnson to play him, who is Quicksilver in the MCU version.
Yeah,
he was also in Kick-Ass. Nope,
no one did.
No, we didn't see it coming.
No one did.
And he is really good, and I hope that, I mean, he will do the character justice no matter what the script is. But it's like, how are they going to turn him from, Kraven the Conservationist to Kraven the Hunter? How are they going to do that?
Yeah.
How? It's just it's baffling, and I'm scared.
Yeah, I think the word that really sums it up is how.
Yeah,
because we could be like, he is a brilliant actor, and whatever he's given, he'll work with it. Jamie Foxx is an Oscar winner, and look what happened to him.
Yep.
And it's not slating any of his work that he done. His acting was great with what he was given.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh no, please don't do it to this guy. Just don't do it to him. Don't kill him twice. Once in the MCU, once in the Sonyverse, and then he really has nothing left. He would have to go to DC. We don't want that to happen to him.
No.
So we'll jump into the next one, my friend.
Yeah. With the rumors surrounding Fantastic Four movie, are fan casting stories getting people's hopes up? And with the cause of the movie to possibly fail due to disappointments?
Yeah, this one, it could be fan hype that destroys it. But at the same time, it could also be how they handle those characters.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted John Krasinski, Mr. Fantastic.
So we got
him. And the bits that he was in, we could not fault it.
Yeah.
Well, it probably was. Every fan probably looked at it and thought, yes, exactly what we thought. Costume was brilliant. The way he acted suited the character. But Marvel shat all over him. They Cleveland steamered him. Completely and utterly. So I don't think it'll be a case if they get who they're wanting for the cast, and they just give the performances that we expect. Job's a good one.
Yeah.
If they're given dug meat to work with, again, like Kraven the Conversionist, we could all be screwed. Because that is just one of the things I was like, the smartest man alive. And he basically gave Scarlet Witch the key to destroying the Illuminati. The second that he said Black Bolt could destroy you with one whisper from his mouth, I just went. I was like, oh no, what? I was like, I genuinely looked at like my kids could have actually known better than to keep their mouth shut. And they're 4.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it's meant to be the Illuminati. They were meant to be like, I know it was meant to hype up that Scarlet Witch she wasn't like the type of person they expected. They had the arrogance about them thinking we can handle a witch, and they basically did no, you can't. So I got why they did it, but the execution really let me down. If it let me down, it would have let a lot of hardcore fans down. So it could. If it was on a DC side, I would be more worried than on a Marvel side, though. I think there's we've got more of a misogyny problem in Marvel, I think. Where it's the female heroes and antagonists that are getting slated. DC has what? At first, I thought it was just a misogyny problem. Now it's just like it's got a complete dumpster fuck of a problem.
Yeah.
Where just everything is going to shit. So we'll see how it goes. Again, I'm more optimistic about the casting for that side than I am if it was like there was rumors of casting these actors on DC projects.
Yeah. I mean, the rumors on DC projects, it's like, okay. Because there's been lots of rumors about things going, it's like, all right, that could be all right. But then when it's rumors about Marvel stuff, it's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I know.
And I think there's more of a what's the word? There's more hatred towards fan casting in Marvel. But if people don't agree with something that's happening, or somebody said some person or something, they're like, "Oh, I do not agree with that." It's like I've been on sites and I've been like, I would like to see them as this and that. They would be shit at that, and it's like, says who?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that I've got a lot more trust in Marvel's casting department.
Yeah,
because because a lot of people, whether you like them or not, or they're not liking the interpretation of the character, the actors themselves, like She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, the only one that is the question mark is Captain Marvel from a lot of people's perspectives, but the rest of them they've knocked out the park. They've had a great streak of actors where they've went, this one can fit this. Even bringing back ones like that were in the Incredible Hulk film, bringing them back in their original capacity, and we're like, okay,
yeah,
we're all right with that. Let's keep going.
mm-hmm.
So I have more faith in Marvel's casting department to pull this off. But it is still worthwhile listening to the fans' opinions and the fans' concerns. If you know a character inside out and you know someone that you think would suit it really well, go with that.
Yeah.
Actually, I used a similar analogy on the Ginger Engine. Well, I just dropped my review of Thomas and the Magic Railroad, and one of the big issues around it was that they'd cast another voiceover actress to voice James because test audiences didn't like Michael Angelis's narration for him, and I was like, that's where I felt the mistake came in, because he'd done 3 seasons at that point. Fans now, when they do their own iterations, myself included, mimic his voice for James. So sometimes a test audience, in fan sites, don't always know the right way to go about it. People that have, whereas Britt Allcroft had said, "No, I want Michael Angelis for it," had worked with him and knew this is the voice he can do.
Yeah.
But she listened to the higher ups gave her an ultimatum. She did it. She had to back down. Then it all went. Not to discredit the actress who voiced James, because she'd done a fine job, but she was put in an impossible situation.
Yeah.
So if Marvel casting people have an idea of who they want, I'm more likely to trust them because they've got a good record.
Yep.
We're on the final point?
We're on the final point.
Oh, we might just squeak this, man. We might squeak this. All right, let's go.
Okay. With the first look at Ant-Man Quantumania, and our first real look at Kang in Phase 5, is Phase 5 looking to be the redemption of the MCU?
I think so. I think Marvel are in a reverse Star Trek. Because remember, we always used to say about the Star Trek films that every odd number Star Trek film was shit.
Yep.
And that was everything, because we had, Wrath of Khan was number 2. Undiscovered Country was 6. Voyage Home was 4. First Contact was 8. Nemesis shat the bed a little bit with it, but it had an emerging Tom Hardy in it, and it had Ron Perlman. Yep. Could not fault the casting on that one. I think the Marvel phases are having a bit of a reverse fortune with that, where it's like Phase 1, yeah, we're cool. Phase 2, ooh, it's a swing and a miss. But overall, there was more misses. Well, at least from my own analysis of it. Phase 3, was just like, okay, we are on a roll here, we are firing. Phase 4 was always going to be difficult because it's a new it's one chapter closing, another chapter starting. We always knew it was going to be a risk, and it has been. But again, overall, I think the castings have been good. It's just maybe the product as part of it. So based on that, I would say Phase 5 is promising.
Yep.
Because that'll be them getting into like the core of what they want to do with their saga and how they're going to go about it. We've all had to get used to a different type of saga that didn't involve building to Thanos and the Infinity Stones. We now know that we're in a multiverse arc. We know that that's going to be a prominent, kind of the main thing going forward.
Yeah.
We all just need to see how it's going to go. So if they've done the groundwork. If they build on it successfully, we could be going well. But the downside is if they're on the even routes as shit, Phase 6 could potentially bite them in the ass.
It could.
So Phase 6 will be their make or break for me, in my own opinion. It'll be the one where it either breaks the streak of even number crappers, or it'll just add to the fire, and we're just like, oh no. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to Black Panther because that's the last Phase 4 film.
Yeah.
And that's November, I think.
Yeah. Well, and I really hope that I don't think that film's gonna bomb. I don't think anything bad is gonna really come out of that. I think Phase 4 will finish very strongly.
Yep.
If that's the way they're gonna finish it. But there has been, reliable ones that were reliable, like Thor. That Love and Thunder came out, and it has not been well received.
It hasn't.
It really hasn't, and I feel so bad.
Yeah, I don't know why it's getting so much hate. I mean, it's not the worst film in the world.
Yeah,
it's not even the worst. It's not even the worst Thor film in the world.
No, that one's still definitely Dark World. That's
which to be fair, I did enjoy Dark World.
I thought it was all right. It was perfectly adequate.
It worked for
the
films that were round about it.
Yeah, but I always said that but that was Phase 2, and I'm like, okay, if there was anything that sums up Phase 2, it was Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
But it wasn't faulting some, because there were bits in it that they got right. It was just some of it was just a bit of a mess. But it was carried through by Tom Hiddleston and Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah,
they carried it through. So what's it? Black Panther: Wakanda Forever will finish Phase 4 on a high. I think it's the closest to a slam dunk that they could possibly get.
Yeah,
and if I am wrong, this bit is going to be clipped to fuck.
Technically, the end of Phase 4 is going to be the Guardians Christmas special thing. Let's just hope that it is not a Star Wars holiday spectacular.
Do you think that's what they're going to do, as a total P take, though?
I think they might. It's James Gunn.
Yeah,
so
it really is. And let's say, and we've just started watching because Harley Quinn's just dropped in E4. And I'm like, because in the first episode, James Gunn's in it, and I'm like, The only difference is he's got the zany humor that could pull it off. We've seen that, but I just hope he doesn't take any lessons off of Taika Waititi. If it was Taika Waititi doing this Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, I'd be more worried based on based on Love and Thunder's what current state of affairs.
Yeah, apparently he's done with Marvel though.
Is he?
Aye, apparently
that's the rumor that's going round.
He's done his contracted films. They contracted him for 3 films, and then he worked it down to 2. So he's done his 2.
Fair enough. The only thing I'd be sad about is Korg.
He says that he'll come back as Korg if they want him to.
Cool.
Anytime. Okay, but he says that he's done directing for them. He's got other things that he wants to do.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Maybe that was something that took away from it. Maybe he had just had too many. He had his eye on another ball.
Maybe.
And just fumbled it a bit. Because it's not to say it's a horrible film, but it's not up to the standard that was set. But that was always going to be hard to achieve. We'll see what happens. I think Phase 4, movie-wise, will end strongly. Series-wise, Let's just hope they don't do a Star Wars. But if they do it and they totally spoof it, it could work.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yep. And we are coming up on time, man. We've covered everything.
Yep, we've covered everything. That was it.
Oh, yes. We've covered it with time to spare. Take that, ladies. We can get the job done when we put our minds to it for pure vengeance.
Yep. Just out of sheer bitterness.
Yep. Just out of spite.
Look what we can do. See,
just out of spite, we've done it. And then all of a sudden I'll just hear like my wife going, Andrew, and I'm like, yes, dear. That's just, I know that's coming. Well, I can just guarantee it. Kev, well done, man. We got there. So until next time, he is Super, whichever way I'm pointing.
He is Ginge.
And we are out of here. Bye, everybody.
See ya.